Today we are going to be doing a brief review of PAACO. For the 8th graders, last year you guys spent a full block period with us in the library discussing how to evaluate websites to identify if they are credible or not. We always want to do this whenever we are doing research, or really just anytime we are looking up information. We want to make sure to ask ourselves if the website is credible or not, in order to ensure that the information that we are getting is good. Otherwise, it's pretty much a waste of our time. And so the acronym that Mr. Treacle and I came up with to do research is called PAACO. These are the 5 things that you should be looking for on a website when you're trying to determine whether it is credible or not. So credible, basically we're just trying to determine, really, is the website good? Is it reliable? Should I use it? Should I waste my time on it? Because if it's not a credible website, then it really is just a waste of time. So how can I tell if a website is credible? The 5 main things that we are looking for are looking for PAACO, the purpose, and I'll talk through all 5 of these things in just a few moments. But so mainly we're looking for purpose, authority, accuracy, currency, and objectivity. So purpose, essentially, why does this website exist? A lot of times when you're on websites, you will notice that there are advertisements. You might notice that you can only get a little bit of the information unless you put in, maybe your email address, or unless maybe you sign up for this program. And so if a website is trying to sell you something, if a website is trying to make money off of you, and essentially that is what advertisements are doing, they are making money from your clicks and your views. It doesn't mean that the website is bad, but it just is something that should give us pause for thought. It's something that should make us wonder, how reliable is this website if their ultimate goal, rather than to inform or educate, is to make money. On the flip side, we see websites with endings like .edu and .gov, which at their core, they are not money-making ventures. They exist solely to inform. We certainly still want to question the information that is on them, but at their core, they do not exist to make money. And so the purpose of the website is going to be making kind of a big difference in terms of whether we find this website to be credible or not. So the next thing, if my PowerPoint will continue, the next thing that we want to ask ourselves is authority. Why can I trust this person? Basically, is the person who created this website, is the person who wrote this article, is the person who is giving us this information, are they an authority on this specific topic? And how do I know? Are they an expert in this area? Are they well renowned in this field of research? Have they written and published books that have been widely received? Do they have a degree? Do they have a decade of experience? I know a lot of information about a lot of things, but you would not come to me to get expertise in basketball. That is just not something that I'm an authority in. But if you want to find good books, I'm kind of an authority on that, I would say. That's something that I have a lot of experience and knowledge on. So when you are looking at websites, you need to try and identify who is the author, which group is bringing this information to me, and are they an authority on this subject? So if there's no single author listed, or you can't find information about a single author, can you find information about the publisher or the group that's bringing you this information? Oftentimes we'll see websites or information that comes from, let's say, like National Geographic. National Geographic is a source that I trust. I find their information to be fairly unbiased. I find their articles to be well researched, their information to be high quality, and so that is a publisher or institution that I feel like I can trust, even though there might not be a specific name linked to an article that comes from National Geographic. I trust kind of the publisher as a whole. On a website, can I find contact information listed for someone? When I go onto the website, is there an about me? Is there a way to contact the person or the publisher or the group that wrote this information? Are there qualifications listed? If there is kind of an about me, is there information about why this person is an expert on this topic? So another thing that we want to look for is accuracy. Can we tell if this information is good or not? There we go. In general, is the information that we see on the page correct? Well, that can be kind of hard to tell if you don't know a whole lot about what it is that you are researching. So something that you can do is you can look at the site and see if they, or the article or whatever it is that you're viewing, and see, are there citations? Did the author of this let me know where they got their information from? Can I kind of fact check this information in other places in more than one source? Also, is the website, as I can tell, is it free of mistakes? When I am looking, am I seeing a lot of spelling mistakes or grammatical mistakes? Because that should kind of be a red flag for me that, you know, there might not be anyone really editing this information. There might not be another set of eyes kind of looking over it if there are a lot of grammatical mistakes or other errors on it. And then also, are the links good? When you are clicking on the links, are they live? Are they leading you to other sites? Are the sites that they are leading you to high quality and free of mistakes and have citations and all of the other things that we were looking at? If someone is trying to give you information about a topic and their citations and their links lead you to Instagram and Reddit and Facebook, that doesn't necessarily make them accurate, because the sites that they're leading you to are not going to be necessarily accurate sites. So we just want to be looking for kind of a variety of things when we are assessing a site for accuracy. Another thing that we want to look for in PAACO, our C, is currency. We're not talking about money currency, and a lot of times there's confusion about that. We're talking about like current. Is the information current? Is it recent? Of course, it kind of depends on what you're researching, whether or like how recent the information has to be. If it's a historical event, sure, it's okay if your information isn't from today. But if it is something that is going on in the world today, certainly you want to have the most recent information of all. And even if it's a historical event, it is still helpful to have more current information rather than something that is, you know, maybe outdated. Let's say that you are looking at two sources about Abraham Lincoln, and one is from 2016 and another one is from 2005. Well, all other things being equal, we want to go with the one from 2016, even though Abraham Lincoln died many years before. There could be new information that has come out about his death or about his life or about his legacy between 2006 and 2016. So it's really important to have kind of current sources. When we're looking at websites, we want to look and see, when was this page last updated? Was it updated, you know, within the last year or two, or has it not been visited since, you know, 2008? We want to have something that is more current if we can. Is there a date provided at all? Can we find any information about the date that is provided? If there's no like actual day, like today is October 10th, 2019. If there's no actual date listed, is there a year listed? Can we find any information about how current this is? And that's really important. Is the website free of broken links? So when I click on things on this website, is it leading me to other websites that are live, that are active, that are being used? Or is it leading me to just other places that are dead, that are not being kept up, or, you know, it just ends up doing kind of the spinning wheel of death forever, and I don't actually get to go anywhere at all? The links are completely broken. What we're looking at is objectivity. So the last thing that we're looking for is objectivity. Objectivity is kind of that X factor. When we are talking about it in civics, which you guys talk about it a lot in civics, we're really kind of talking about bias. Is the website, near as we can tell, free of bias? Am I getting facts and not opinions? And sometimes it can be hard to tell because, as we've talked about, and you've talked about in your civics class and English classes, I'm sure, sometimes people will create things in a way that makes it look like the information they are giving you is all facts, when in actuality they are presenting their opinion by maybe only giving you one side of a story. So one of the things we want to look for, once again, is advertising. We talked about that when we were talking about purpose, but we also want to talk about that in terms of objectivity. If we're seeing a lot of advertisements on the page, that can kind of give us an idea that perhaps this site is not necessarily unbiased. Maybe it is being supported by certain groups, certain political parties, certain candidates, certain organizations. And so it's just something to take into account. Also, this is kind of a big one. Am I getting two sides of an issue? In addition to facts, am I getting kind of a full and balanced picture? And if I'm not, but I feel like in all other ways this website stacks up in terms of all of the PAACO items, but maybe it's just slanted towards one side, I've got to make sure that I am exploring the other side as well. Even if I'm doing like a persuasive paper or I am doing a debate, it's really important to look for counter arguments. And you don't just want to look for counter arguments from unreliable sites. Once again, you need to do your due diligence anytime you're doing research on a topic to look for arguments as well as counter arguments on reliable and credible sites. And if it really just seems like the site is only presenting one side of a story, and you really kind of need to do your due diligence and either look at another site entirely or check a site that's going to show the other side of the story. Is the site overall trustworthy? And that kind of leads back to the rest of the PAACO things. You know, just really, am I getting kind of a clear picture? Am I getting a website that is free of bias, that is trustworthy? I'm not seeing advertisements. So objectivity kind of just pulls everything together. And ultimately, we're just really looking, am I getting a good, clear picture on this topic, whatever it may be? So we're not going to talk about Wikipedia today, but that is really where we're leaving off today. So that is where we are leaving off today. This was just a really quick refresher of the 5 things that we are looking for when we are evaluating websites for credibility. We're doing a quick check on purpose, authority, accuracy, currency, and objectivity. If you're ever uncertain and you are really struggling, we suggest that you use the Fairfax County databases. The databases are a place, the databases are pre-PAACO'd. They are high quality research material. They are resources that are curated by professionals who kind of go through the information and make sure that it is current, it is accurate, the author is a solid, you know, expert on the topic. It is for the most part free of bias. It is free of advertisements, and so the purpose is really just to inform. So the databases are really, really great sources. You do still need to PAACO the information in the databases on occasion, or at least always just be kind of asking yourself about the information, because like anything else, the databases have a lot of live and dynamic information within them that is constantly changing, because a lot of the databases use newspaper articles and magazine articles. And so just like anything on the internet, magazine articles and newspaper articles are written by people, and people are prone to be imperfect when they are giving information. So pretty much anytime you're doing any type of research, you want to be doing PAACO, but in general, if you're using the databases, it's going to make your research a little bit faster and a little bit easier. So hopefully this has been a helpful refresher for you. Have a wonderful day, happy reading, and see you in the halls.